Hey y'all, it's Rick here with Uncommon Communion, and I am glad that you're with me this evening as I record, whatever time of the day it is for you as you watch or listen. And I'm excited because I'm going to try something new. I'll tell you a little bit more about why, but let's begin with the what. The what that is at the heart of everything. And when we can become aware of this, when we can live from this, when we can build our lives standing upon this, everything changes. You probably have heard this once or twice if you are a familiar listener or watcher. Let's say this together. Let us remember we are always and everywhere in the holy presence of the more and each other. So I've been looking for a focal point, a new focal point for what I'm sharing here. And without going into too much of my deliberation, I found something I think is going to be valuable that I hope to stick to, I plan to stick to. And it is going to be taking some time to write, sharing that writing with you, either by reading it here or by a photo of the writing itself. Now, the writing itself is different than typing and composing on a screen. Because what I have realized and recognized in my own practice is that when I put pen to paper, something else happens. There is a synergistic coming together, literally, of ink and paper and thoughts and feelings and insights that don't come together when I sit in front of a screen looking at words, typing with my fingers. And I want to write more. I think this is going to be a way to do that. So I'm going to, today, before we get to the Psalms, and I'm going to keep the Psalms as long as we are in the Psalms, and we are in the home stretch. We have, after today, we only have 39 more. So we're seeing the end of this journey. So I'm going to keep those Psalms. I also want to share the writing, which I'm going to do first. So I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to post it below the actual words, the picture of the words, just to see how it's going to look if you are on a phone, if you're on a browser, how you can see those words and read those words when I do a written post and not a video post or an audio post. So we're trying something new here that I hope will be beneficial to you. I hope it will encourage you to see some of the things that I am seeing, to do some of your own writing, actual paper to pen handwriting. So here's what I wrote just a few minutes ago. I'm starting something new tonight. Writing by hand, especially with a smooth new gel pen, is an excellent practice for me. It is tactile, and as I write, I feel friction against the paper. It's not much friction, just enough that I am aware that it isn't the same feeling at all like when I type onto a screen. Also, there's a sensation in my hand, a tightness in the muscle that runs between my pinky and my wrist. I wonder what this specific, seemingly important muscle is called. This feeling in my hand is a familiar one which comes with handwriting. Yet the fact that it is so defined is a reminder of how infrequently I write with pen on paper. I want to write, then share what I've written via Substack, either with a photo of this writing or reading it in a video. This practice of writing for a strict timed 15 minutes will combine two acts: my thinking, sharing in handwriting, plus the public connection in Substack. I want it to be a time for reflection on where, how, when I experience the joyful realization and soulful recognition that I am in the presence of the more. Today, here and now, it is in this ancient act of placing pen to paper and feeling what comes out. There's a different pace to this form of expression. Also, this can happen anywhere as I'm not fixed to a device's screen. Right now, I am close to my pooch Lucy as she sleeps on my bed, the location of choice for this activity. The idea to do this came to me in a burst of inspiration, and I am glad that I responded to this burst of creative calling by sitting and doing this writing. This feels grounding, which is essential for me to experience during this full period of my life. I realize that the allure which screens provide to me can only be countered through sensual acts away from a screen. Writing with a smooth pen on nice paper as I listen to quiet music is sensual in many ways. It's been only 15 minutes, yet I feel better, more complete, and happier that I've done this. Oh, may it be so. So, we'll see how this new practice goes. I think it's going to be a good one, an important one, I think, for me, and perhaps it will spark or invite something in you as well. As always, you can just put comments and let me know what you think. 2 Psalms today because I did not record for Monday. We've got Psalm 110 from Monday and Psalm 111 for Tuesday as you watch or listen to this. 110 is another short one. It's just 7 verses, and nothing really strikes me in this one except for this line. And there's a word in here that I think is just a cool one. See if you catch it. This is verse 3, 110:3. Your people will offer themselves freely on the day you show your power, fully dressed in the beauty of holiness. From the womb of the sunrise, your youth will be like the morning dew on green grass. Yeah, the womb of the sunrise. Yeah, I love that. This idea that the sun is birthed each day, and that the sun itself is a womb, which is an apt metaphor because the sun is life and a ridiculous amount of energy and light that fuels everything we do. Every single action of energy on this planet, this only planet that you and I have, comes in one way or another from the sun. So I love this idea of the womb of the sun. 111 is a little bit longer. It's 10 verses. And there's a middle verse here that really struck me, which is verse 5. Now, as I read the indigenous translation, I sometimes want to go to a more traditional translation just to kind of hear what we hear when we are reading and hearing that more traditional version, rendering, really. And in this particular case, it is verse 5, as I mentioned. And this is from this translation here. It says, He, the Lord, provides food for those who fear him. He is ever mindful of his covenant. All right. I mean, we get the meaning, right? We understand food and covenant, 2 key words that are central in the Psalms and in the entire biblical tradition. But here's what the indigenous translation gives it. And again, I just appreciate the color and the vibrancy and the sensuality of how this is rendered. So I'm going to read the verses before and a few verses after. And I'll point out when it's verse 5. So, Grandfather is kind and merciful. He is highly honored for the wonders he has performed. Here's verse 5. He gives the elk and the buffalo, along with corns, beans, and squash, to those who highly respect him. He will never forget the sacred treaty he made with his people. He showed his people the strength and power of his deeds by giving them the lands of other nations. All that Creator does is right and true. We can put our trust in all his teachings. Yeah, I love that. Food and covenant. All right. How about elk and buffalo, corn, beans, and squash? Right? Now, those might not be our typical food. I've neither eaten elk nor buffalo. For the indigenous tribes and peoples and traditions, that is the heart of it. And then I love that last piece, the sacred treaty. The sacred treaty. So much different than just covenant, sacred treaty. All right. So again, y'all, I am always grateful when you spend time with me in this way. Please send me some comments. Let me know what you think about what I'm going to try to do. This 15 minutes of writing and then sharing it here with you in one form or another. All right, y'all. Serenity prayer is something I've prayed multiple times today. And let's pray it one more time for me and maybe the first time for you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thy will, O God, not ours, be done. All right, y'all. Again, thank you. Blessing and good. Be bold, be well, hold fast, y'all.